Hi, this is Sri Iyer from pgurus.com. I'm right in front of this school, Warm Springs Grammar School. This is where Congressman Ro Khanna is going to have his town hall meeting. It's now about 6:30 in the evening, and the meeting is about to start in about 30 minutes. And as you can see, there are people lining up here in to oppose the SB 403 that is being proposed by State Senator Aisha Wahab. And we have a few people here, and I'm hoping to get some feedback from them because this is the first time I'm meeting this group after the determination has come where the CRD has actually withdrawn their lawsuit. Now, where things stand is that now they are going to go into mediation with Cisco on the 2nd of May, and we'll have to see what comes out after that. So that's where the case stands. And there's also a very important point that is made in the when they applied. They said what it really means is that this case can never be filed again in the state of California. So at least there's a closure. This cannot be appealed to a higher court also. So whatever mediation happens on the 2nd of May, that'll be final. So I think what you're seeing in various outlets, Associated Press, Fortune, unfortunately they are trying to play down the fact about that this is the end of the case. And if you don't have a case of Cisco, then all the other arguments basically fall flat. That's my read on it. I'm not a lawyer, but this is the foundational case based on which a lot of this caste discrimination stuff is being peddled about. A lot of waste of taxpayers' money, I might add, but that's just me. Here we go. We have a few people here, and I'm just going to try and see if anyone wants to weigh in on the CRD withdrawing that lawsuit.
Yeah, my name is Ravi Shankar, part of Kerala Hindus of Northern California. So I would say it's kind of some kind of positive move for us. Basically, CRD is kind of court rejected and is going for mediation. Regarding the SB 403, I think many folks are coming here, not people telling to come. They know these kind of things which we have to do. That's the reason people are coming here. So it's kind of I would say, triggering point for the wide Hindu community to unite. That is very important for us. So let us wish all the best. Thank you.
So Ravi Shankar, if I understand you correctly, this is more of a proactive
kind of voluntary, I would say. Yeah, no one is asking me to come. I just came because I know there's a cause. We have to oppose this. Very important.
Yes, this is like a toolkit. That's what I've been saying for the longest time. Look, if there is spontaneous, if there's a genuine grievance, everybody would like to sit and then try and resolve this. But trying to manufacture something when that is not there, that's what gets everybody's attention. And I think I'm glad to see so many people lining up. You can see now, I would say about 25-30 people. But if you're driving, you can see people also, honking. Usually in the United States, you honk if you are in support of a certain resolution. So you will take that as something that is being supportive. We've been told not disturb the peace, and the volunteers have said, yes, we are not planning on disturbing the peace, but many placards are coming out now. But let's just take a quick look at some of the things that are there. If you could take a look at that, please. Stop Hindu hate. SB 403 is equal to racism. No to SB 403. SB 403 is the bill that has been proposed by State Senator Aisha Wahab. And here there's one more, equality for all. Say no to SB 403. And there are many more placards that are going to start showing up as we get more people coming in. It's a very sunny but crisp and cold evening, and it takes a lot of what I would call as initiative for someone to come out, and as the sun falls, it's going to get colder even faster. So that's where things stand, and I'm going to be able to go in and perhaps capture some of the conversations, some of the question and answers that Congressman Ro Khanna may have. I'm sure this is going to be one of the topics that's going to be discussed in detail. So right for now, I'm just going to stop, and then I'll come back and tell you what happened at the meeting hall. Thank you so much.
My name is Nishan Singh, and I live in the city Sunnyvale, but I'm here. I heard about this law, which is This is 40. This is SB 403. I heard this is against Indian community because of this caste and creed, something which is like a part of society back in India, but nothing is happening here. So this is, I believe, it's a big picture, a big game of on an international level to malign and to print India is a bad country. So this is one of that the part of that is happening here as well. So there's nothing happened here so far in about the community or like a casteism in America. So why it is being why we are being profiled as a community of this casteism or something like that. So what I would say basically this is just a discriminatory act, which is a part of a game and scam happening. I heard this Soros and something. It's a big picture, right? And the money is coming from other part of the world also to just malign India, not only that Hindus or any South Asian. This is what's happening. But I heard there's so many things happen regarding the caste and the creed here in by some other community, which I will not say about them. But they're fighting all the time, and they're just discriminating other minor communities of within their community, but they never talk about anything. They're just talking about Indian people here. And the Indian people is very peaceful people. We never heard anything in the United States. We follow the laws. We very peaceful. Never had any violence and anything. Even still against India, that many things happen around the world. Like especially I don't know I should take the name or not, but the Khalistanis were doing a lot against India, but Indian were still peaceful. They are the 1% and 2%. I know, but still, I mean, the Indians are in the majority here, peaceful people, those who love India, but they never went for against anybody or violence on anybody. So I believe this is totally discriminatory, and it's a big picture, and we all Indians has to be together to fight this thing. That's all I want to say here.
This is a recurring theme as we talk to one and again. People come here, they want to make a success of their lives. They work hard, they follow the laws, they blend into the society, and this kind of a divisive law and it's got a lot of mischief behind it. This is the overall feeling I'm getting right here, but then inside there may be a different picture, there may be other voices, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But for now, we are seeing many more people gathering. Everybody now understands that even though that one case, Cisco versus California, is over, or practically over, there are many more battles that will be fought. This is just the beginning, and we have to wait and see how this plays out in the long term. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome to the city of Fremont. Welcome to District 5, which is the most southern district of Fremont and kind of the deep south of Alameda County. We're just on the border near Milpitas. We're home of advanced manufacturing, tech companies, and life sciences. And we're very blessed and fortunate to have all of you here today. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce a truly remarkable public servant, Congressman Ro Khanna. Congressman Khanna has earned a reputation as a passionate advocate for progressive values and is a tireless worker for all of his constituents. He was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He attended the University of Chicago, got a degree in economics, and went to Yale for law school. After that, he was a lawyer for a little bit, and he was an educator. Both the congressman and I share a common story. We both ran in 2014, and we ran in 2016. 2014, we both came up a little short. And then 2016, we both won big. So it was a great moment for both of us, and it was an honor to be on the ballot with our congressman. Since being elected to Congress, Congressman Khanna has been a leading voice on a wide range of issues. He has been a vocal advocate for reforming our criminal justice system, increasing access to affordable health care, and protecting the environment. He has also been a champion for workers' rights, fighting for higher wages, better benefits, and more protections for workers all across the country. And one of his most notable accomplishments has been his work to end the U.S. involvement in Yemen. And he has been a tireless advocate for peace and diplomacy. Let's give it up for that as well. Through his tireless work and dedication, Congressman Khanna has become a rising star for the Democratic Party and a leader in the progressive movement. He has inspired countless Americans with his vision of a more just, equitable, and inclusive society, and he continues to fight every day to make that vision a reality. So please join me in welcoming my friend and our Congressman, Congressman Ro Khanna.
Thank you, Raj. You can introduce me anytime you want. That was great. I appreciate it. Raj has seen me at all the low moments as well, which he was generous to omit from that very, very kind introduction. But Raj and I have been working together, as he mentioned, since 2016. And we have a very informal relationship. We don't go through all the staff. He just texts me if he's upset at something I need to do. And he gets results. He gets results. He is, no one has bled more for Fremont than Raj. I mean, if you ask people even who disagree with him, if they have an issue, whether it's an issue on the streets, whether it's an issue of the schools, and you email him, you text him, he'll get back to you. And I admire how accessible he is. I admire his pragmatism and his leadership, and I look forward to continuing to work with you, Raj, for many years to come. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm so honored that we've got, Raj talked about workers, and we have two extraordinary, courageous workers with us in the back who I had the chance of meeting at Starbucks, who are working to unionize in Sunnyvale Starbucks. And will you raise your hand back there? Just let's give them a round of applause for their courage. They're fighting for fair wages, they're fighting for fair benefits. They want to make sure that there's no retaliation, cuts in their hours, cuts in their schedule by Starbucks. And I believe in the wealthiest area in the wealthiest country, we can afford to treat people who are serving our coffee with dignity, with respect, and we need to stand up for them. So thank you for being here. I've also been very, very involved these last few weeks on gun violence. I mean, it is horrible and so tragic what happened here, just right off 880. 5-year-old girl killed, shot to death. And we see what's happening with the mass shootings in Tennessee. So when are we going to do something as a country? Our children are being murdered in front of us. Guns, the leading cause of death for children. It's completely unacceptable and a stain on our nation. And I'm going to continue to fight to ban assault weapons, to have basic background checks, to make sure that we have red flag laws that take away guns from people who we know have committed violence or threats to the community. These are common sense things. Law-abiding gun owners should be for them and are for them in many cases. But we need to keep pushing and fighting for that, and I will continue to do that in Congress. I've also been very outspoken against this Texas judge decision. Have you followed that? To outlaw pills for abortion. When do activist judges get to decide and interfere on our freedoms? A person's decision about their own health is for them and their doctor in consultation with their family, not for a judge sitting there questioning the FDA, questioning science. I mean, if they're going to politicize that on abortion, think about what they can politicize next. Vaccines? Are they going to politicize other drugs that they simply disagree with for ideological reasons? It's wrong, and we're going to, in Congress, when we get back, continue to speak out very firmly for upholding the FDA's decision to provide these pills and abortion pills that people in this country have been relying on for decades. And it's their right, their freedom to rely on that. I continue to be very, very involved in bringing manufacturing back to the United States. Our Chips and Science Bill that I helped co-lead, co-write, is now being implemented. We're seeing semiconductor manufacturing return. The IRA is leading to a lot of battery plants, solar plants coming back. I was just this morning at Lucid, the electric vehicle company in Newark that is doing the manufacturing here in the United States. A lot of opportunities to bring clean manufacturing back to the U.S. That's going to create good paying jobs, and I'm proud of our efforts on that front. Now finally, I want to mention the trip I took to Taiwan and the approach that I've had on the China Committee. I think we have to avoid a Cold War with China, but we need to make sure that we are preparing Taiwan for deterrence and defense, and I will continue to make sure that we're standing up for freedom and democracy in Taiwan while trying to avoid escalating the situation with China into a Cold War, and I've been honored to serve on the China Committee. Those are some of my opening comments. I want to save the bulk of time for questions from all of you and what's on your mind. I'll try to keep the answers brief so we can get to as many folks.
Thank you. I'll make this brief. We have 3 microphone runners today. Yvonne is right over here, Olivia, and Hip over on the right, assisted by our 4 interns. If you have a question, please get their attention. They will take your question. We're going to go around the room. Staffers are instructed to get a balance of topics, so your questions might not be asked in order. We're trying to spread it around. Try to keep politics out of it. This is an official event. If you have casework inquiries, talk to the caseworkers. If you are selected to ask a question, please let the staffer hold the microphone. Ask a question, don't give a speech. Please don't attempt to follow up questions. And the goal is to let everyone here ask as many questions as we can get in this evening. That said, the first question is going to be coming from Yvonne.
Well done, Tom. That was, I've always said get the time shorter on those instructions, so that's great.
Congressman, we have Julie from San Jose with a question on gun violence.
Hi, Representative. Thank you very much for standing up against gun violence and being vocal about it. I wasn't expecting to be the first question, but thank you for that. I wanted to ask why you have yet to co-sponsor HR 169 to create an Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and if you would be willing to support that initiative.
Absolutely, I would. I usually have co-sponsored almost any gun violence bill. I wasn't aware of this one. Do you know who the author is? All right. As long as it's a reasonable bill, I'm happy to do that. So why don't we, Tom, Bill 169, Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Can we send that to Kevin to see if we can co-sponsor that? Thank you for raising that.
We're going to, Ro, we're going to go to me now. Did you? You know what, we're going to go, let's go to Hip, and then we'll come back to me. Hip has got the next question.
Congressman, we have Sal from Santa Clara on library burning topic. Hi, Ro. As I expect you to be aware, this week we got some reports coming out of Bihar where a century-old library was burned to the ground. And a mosque... Library is burned to the ground. And then there's a mob of about 1,000 people, a Hindu mob, that then not only destroyed that library, but then also went ahead and burned down a school. A school was burned to the ground. They attacked homes. They attacked shops. And it's been really, really bad, as you know, the situation there. Now, my question for you is that, we've been seeing that as a result of these things. By the way, this happened during the month of Ramadan. I'm fasting as well. I'm sure some others here are also fasting today. And so this attack on a place of worship like that is very unacceptable to us. And it's not just Muslims. Last month, the town hall, you saw that a Sikh gentleman and a Sikh party, they also raised this issue. We've been seeing these genocidal fascists in power in India growing in power while you've remained silent. We've raised this issue many, many times with you. Many other groups have raised this issue as well with you, whether it was the tortures of Kashmiris, the internet bans there, the CAA, NRC, hijab ban, and it's just been progressively getting worse and worse. And this policy of appeasement that you've been having with Modi, who is better known as the butcher of Gujarat, right, is not working. It's only getting worse. You saw the Rahul Gandhi saying, thanks for tweeting on that, by the way. But my... Please be silent so that we can hear. Please respect First Amendment. Please keep silent.
Yeah, we need
So
civility
that, to respect our audience here.
yeah, please.
Thank you.
Okay, if you can finish.
sure because we're respecting you.
Can we, look, we have, we've never had, if I,
Yeah. This is, please listen to this gentleman's question.
in my 7 years in Congress, we've done town halls every month. And one of the things I always brag about is that in our constituency, we have no violence, we don't disrupt, we listen to each other civilly. And I hope we can continue that tradition in our town hall.
Yes, but I did want to say we respect you all. Please, apologies if this is coming out in that way. My question is a two-part question. Part A: have you seen the BBC documentary on Modi, in which it clearly demonstrates Modi and the BJP's involvement? They were responsible for the massacre in Gujarat. And part B: would you today finally, in no uncertain terms, be willing to condemn Modi and the Indian government right now for their human rights violations and what they've been doing to the minorities of India today? Thank you.
I appreciate your passion, and what I can say very unequivocally is I condemn any violence against any person based on their faith or any violence against places of worship, and I affirm very strongly the values of pluralism in the United States and in any country around the world. Now, India is a strategic ally of the United States. President Biden will be inviting Prime Minister Modi for a state dinner. The State Department has issued a report of human rights concerns that the President and Secretary Blinken will bring up, but they're also strategic, important parts to the relationship. And my view on the U.S.-India relationship has been to support the President's approach while affirming the values of pluralism and making sure that we condemn violence. But I appreciate always your speaking out, and I have spoken out where there are incidents of clear violence. I've spoken out for an open internet, and will continue to support the strategic relationship with India rooted in liberal democratic values here in the United States and in India. Look, democracies, as we know in our own country, are not perfect. I think we have the greatest democracy in the world, but we have to work. It's a work in progress, and we have to work.
Congressman, we have a question from Harsh and Padma in Fremont regarding SB 403. But before we do, there are quite a few people here that are concerned about that issue. If you could stand up if you are here specifically, primarily for that issue. So there's quite a few people here. Harsh or Padma? Harshals, go ahead.
I'll answer the first question and come back to the next one. So first of all, thank you, Congressman. Thank you, Congressman, for giving us the time. This is excellent, and all voices have been heard, and I really like it. it was also a pleasure to learn that we have a connection in Philadelphia. I went to grad school there, spent some good time in Philadelphia.
Wonderful. Where did you go?
At Temple.
Oh, great place. John Cheney used to be the coach with the
He did, I know. Owls.
There you go.
So, what I want to bring up today is about SB 03, as the director Pike has said. We stand for against all sorts of discrimination. There shall be no discrimination for anyone based on anything. However, you cannot discriminate in order not to discriminate. And SB 403 targets Hindus specifically and will lead to profiling in order to identify caste or whatever else is in that bill, if you have seen it. What I'm worried about, right, this is a state issue, of course, right, and however, what I'm worried about is it impacts a lot of your constituents. And as being your constituents, we have the right to bring it up to you.
Of course.
Right? So what we want to know is where would you stand, or where do you stand in this issue? Specifically, do you think the current laws adequately address caste discrimination? And what can you do to help us so that our voices are heard?
I appreciate the passion. I appreciate the peaceful and constructive way that the group is here. Let me tell you my thinking on the issue. Let me start with a very basic premise. I believe that almost every Indian American I know is opposed to caste discrimination. That caste discrimination has no place. Now as you know, people say, I mention my grandfather a lot. My grandfather was part of the Indian independence movement. He spent years in jail with Gandhi, and as a result, I've actually studied the debates between Ambedkar and Gandhi, where Ambedkar, who was a brilliant legal jurist, came to the United States, author of the Indian Constitution, influenced W.E. Du Bois, was arguing that Hinduism intrinsically had caste in it, and Gandhi rejected that. And I fall more on the Gandhi side of that debate. I don't think that religion is intrinsic though I've read a lot of Ambedkar's thinking, and I'm deeply inspired by Ambedkar. We had a day in Congress to celebrate Ambedkar. So my perspective on it is that obviously caste discrimination should be illegal and not allowed, but we need to make sure that any bill or effort does not have a selective enforcement or unfair profiling of a presumption. And that is what I have today. I don't take a position on state legislation. I never have. I don't intend to on this. But what I would recommend is that there be constructive dialogue so that we can not have caste discrimination in any way in the United States, and at the same time not have unfair enforcement or targeting of individuals based on that.
Because we have so many people here that are passionate about this issue, we have one follow-up question from Padma.
Sure.
Okay. I'm Padma Gopalakrishnan. I've been a Fremont resident for over 25 years. I'm a registered Democrat. I vote in every single election,
Wonderful.
including the primaries. And I'm here to ask you, I assume you have seen these videos put out by a group called Equity Labs that is completely behind, Equality Labs, that is behind the SB 403, and they have publicly announced their intent to destroy Hinduism, and they're an anti-Hindu group. As a registered Democrat, I'm very shocked that the Democratic Party is giving a platform to an organization like that and trying to pass a legislation solely based on a biased survey conducted by a biased organization. So I'm here to ask you if you would be willing to make a statement against SB 403 and call your friends in the state Senate and let them know that their constituents are against this bill, and also make a statement against groups like Equality Labs. Thank you very much.
What I will say is as a representative of one of the most diverse districts in the United States, meet with everyone. And I have met with groups that are for the Hindu community, Sikh community, Muslim community, Equality Labs for their concerns, and I listen to everyone. That is what it means to represent a diverse community. And where people disagree, I think they should disagree civilly and respectfully. I mean, if we can, in the heart of Silicon Valley, learn how to disagree and form a common bond, then what hope is there of building a multiracial democracy? I hope, candidly, that some of the prejudices and some of the hatred of the previous generations can be left behind in the United States of America. That in the United States of America, we don't have to be burdened with the baggage of very painful disputes in the past. And so what I would say is I don't take positions on state legislation, not just on this in general, but what I would encourage the group to do is to sit down with the legislative leaders and to express the concern, which is, as I understand it, no one here, raise your hand here if you think that there should be discrimination based on caste. Raise your hand if you think that there should not be any discrimination based on caste. So there seems to be a consensus on that. And so then the question is, how do we make sure that there is not a selective targeting or enforcement or judgment on people based on their surnames or how they look, and assumption. And that conversation can happen in a constructive way, and that's what I'm going to continue to encourage the conversation to happen.
Congressman, we have Rebecca from Fremont with a comment on the MASA Act.